Another edition of Mahala Monday. My name is Dugald. As always, I am not alone. She's here. She is sporting black today.
Dugald, so are you. We always
So am I.
Always on a Monday. I missed you last week, by the way.
So did I.
Yeah.
How are you?
Not used to you not seeing you on a Monday.
Yes,
It's
yes,
weird.
yes,
But
yes.
yeah, no. I'm good. I'm happy to be back. Good to be seeing you and welcome. And everybody out there as well. So glad and happy to be here because I know you're sitting out there watching us.
Yeah. What happened to you on Monday?
What happened?
Yeah,
Monday?
you see, there's the thing. Yeah. Rhoda decided Monday, no, we're not. I'm joking. But what I really want you to do, though, is do us the big favor, the big honor, please. Definitely like and subscribe. Definitely do that for us. And we look forward to your interesting comments as well. So if you've got anything to say, if you've got a question to ask, please add that to our comment section below and just be part of the show. It is an interactive show, of course. We always welcome your comments. Yes. So Monday we had a bit of a breather, but for very good reason, and all shall be revealed by Rhoda very shortly. But let's move on swiftly while she comes up with the answer to that one. But more importantly, as you know, we always on Mahala Monday, and this is actually something we pride ourselves in because we bring you people and guests and amazing stories of people that just improve our communities, our societies, that contribute very positively to our communities. And this is so important so we can all just enjoy every moment, but also appreciate sometimes the smaller things in life. And tonight is a very, very strong show. And I use this word quite liberally, Rhoda. Strong because this is definitely something we should all be aware of. This is also definitely something that we should all be concerned with, but also it is definitely all something that we should get involved in. And let me preface it by saying this. In South Africa, it is estimated right about in 2025 by Stats SA that the population of South Africa in terms of minors, we're looking at children here, around about 16.5 to 18.5 million. That is the population. Now, we've all seen this. You watch TV all the time. We all see these infomercials. We all kind of plan for our future in our lives as a grown-up. And then always when you do something for life insurance or anything, there's this wonderful term that I learned in the late 90s called dread disease.
Oh, wow.
And you think to yourself, what is that? Now, let's flip it. Imagine this happens to that small percentage of vulnerable members of our community, the youth, the children. When cancer comes knocking on the door, mom and dad don't have the resources. We're talking multiple deprivation on a huge scale, geographically challenged to medical care, literacy, whatever the reason is, and just the general, we all know today's cost of living. What happens then? Well, luckily for us, there's a fantastic organization called CHOC. And if you haven't heard of CHOC, you're going to definitely know about them tonight because this is what they do. They step in, they are that helping hand, and trust me, this is the angel that you really want if you're in that hour of need. So without further ado, let's introduce you to our wonderful guest joining us this evening from the CHOC Foundation. She's here with us live in studio. Lynette Muthuray is here with us. Lynette, hello.
Good evening.
Welcome. How are you?
Welcome.
Good. I'm very, very well. Thank you so much, Rhoda and Dugald, for inviting CHOC tonight. I'm very happy to be here tonight.
Listen, it is really wonderful. And I was sorry I was going on a little bit there because sometimes I get carried away.
Yeah.
But I was thinking to myself now, you know, this is a strong topic. This is a heavy topic because when you know, it is one of those topics, even around the braai, you know, or whatever. And I know a lot of people are going to be braaiing in the next couple of days. When you hear that word cancer, we all just kind of, it's a heavy topic. We don't want to talk about it. But we sometimes forget that this is all humans and it also affects children.
Yes, it's so prevalent amongst children. In South Africa, the statistics shows us that 1 in every 500 kids are diagnosed with cancer every year, and currently we have about 1,000 newly diagnosed children in South Africa each year. So it's very much still seen as a rare disease.
Yeah.
But it does exist amongst kids, yes.
It does. So you are a representative with the CHOC Childhood Cancer Foundation. Now, first, tell us CHOC's story. How did this all come about? When was it started? Why was it started? And how does it operate?
It's an amazing story how CHOC was started. CHOC was started by a couple known as Julian and Sadie Cutland. And Julian and Sadie had a daughter. She's still alive. She's a survivor.
Oh, wow.
And when their daughter was diagnosed with cancer in Johannesburg, they saw the need for starting parent support groups amongst parents in the hospital where their daughter was treated at. They were actually at that time from Ireland and were here on a short stay where the husband had to work here for some months. And after so many years, which is now 45 years later, they are still in South Africa and they are our founders. So in that time, in 1979, there were not many organizations providing comprehensive support to children and teenagers in the academic hospitals. Many parents had almost zero support, whether it be practical support or emotional support, while they faced with this difficult journey. And they started what we call parent support groups, and it then spread to the various academic hospitals around the country where parents were just coming together and sharing their difficulties and their challenges that they are faced with when undergoing the treatment of their children. And from there we grew into a national organization. At that time we only had volunteers, and now CHOC has almost 100 full-time employees, and we're operating in 6 regions around the country.
Wow. So it has definitely grown over the years.
It's grown a lot, yes.
Now, so we know CHOC supports children with cancer, but now let me ask you this, and it might be a bit of a naughty question, but what does that support actually look like on the ground?
CHOC, if I may start, CHOC provides a range of supports to parents. So firstly, to help yourselves and also the listener to understand, we work very closely with the academic hospitals where you find a pediatric oncology unit or a pediatric oncology ward or an adult oncology ward, and some of the services we provide. And I'll start with this scenario. You find a mommy, for instance, from Robertson. The mommy arrives at the hospital and the doctor shares the diagnosis that the child is diagnosed with cancer. One of the main things a parent struggles with is accessibility to the academic hospitals. It's preferred that the child be treated by a pediatric oncologist, and those doctors, they are specialized doctors. They are only found in the pediatric oncology units. So one of the challenges many parents face are access to treatment because of the geographical distances. So one of our services consists out of our home away from home accommodation. We call them CHOC houses. CHOC has 13 CHOC houses around the country in South Africa. And all those CHOC houses work closely with an academic hospital, and all their parents whose kids are diagnosed with cancer, who resides 50 kilometers away from the treatment center, are placed at no cost for the full duration of their stay at the CHOC houses.
While the treatment is ongoing.
While the treatment happens, yes. There's no cost involved for the parent. It's truly a home away from home CHOC house. And we transport the parents every morning to the academic hospitals, and we collect them again in the afternoon. And in that way, they find that this support base of parents are there in the CHOC house, who's going through the same journey, but obviously a different journey, but the same journey. That's just one of the services.
Excuse me.
One of the services CHOC provides, and we have 13 CHOC houses around the country. Yes.
Oh, wow.
And then other than the CHOC houses, you do know that when a family is diagnosed with cancer, at times many parents struggle financially. One of the parents at times need to resign from full-time employment to be with the child in the hospital for a long duration of time. So parents struggle financially. We know all the socioeconomic challenges that we face in our country, and many families are faced with that same challenges: crime, poverty, unemployment in our communities. So CHOC has what we call a practical support program, where we provide nutritional support assistance to the families who are outpatients. So those are things like food hampers, food vouchers, toiletries, and a transport fund to the families. So a transport fund is where the family is able to receive an amount of cash that enables the mommy to travel in and out from the hospital on a daily or weekly basis, and that helps them to access the treatment, and they don't have to stress about how would I access, for instance, the academic hospital by bus or taxi, and you know taxi fare is quite expensive. Yes. So that is our practical program, and then we also employ our own social workers in the pediatric oncology units, and that is a very, very important role that CHOC fulfills. And that person, our social workers, provides emotional support to the parents, counseling to the parents and the children. They also serve as that anchor for the family in the time when at times the child passes on, which is quite sad. So they build a relationship with the family from the diagnosis until at times when the child passes on. And those social workers are our CHOC social workers.
And those are CHOCs, that's employed by CHOC.
By CHOC, yes.
This is not employed by Department of Health or Welfare or whatever the department is called, or anybody else. These are CHOC employees.
Yes, they are CHOC employees. They are pediatric oncology social workers placed in the pediatric oncology wards, and they work alongside the multidisciplinary team in the pediatric oncology units. And when at times the doctors shares the news that the children are diagnosed, the social worker is there next to the doctors from the diagnosis throughout the journey, and they provide the emotional support and even the practical support to the families in the hospitals. Yes.
Now, Lynette, I just want to backtrack here quickly. Let's just take it a step back. And thank you for really so eloquently outlining that for us. Even when I was a child, as a teenager, young adult, whatever, whenever I heard of a minor or a child that has been diagnosed with cancer, it's always been leukemia. I find it hard to recall any other form of cancer when I heard of some. Is that the most prevalent type of, especially for youngsters, for children?
Yeah, in South Africa, leukemia is the most prevalent childhood cancer, yes, in South Africa, yes.
Oh. And when you hear the word leukemia, it's also kind of like the worst one, if I can put it that way.
I would say that all cancers, any type of cancer, can be severe for a family to endure, and every child's diagnosis is different and their treatment is different. But leukemia is still the most prevalent childhood cancer amongst kids in South Africa, yes.
And going back to what you said earlier, it's like, what, 1 in 500?
Yes, 1 in every 500 kids are diagnosed with cancer in South Africa, and there are approximately 1,000 newly diagnosed children in South Africa each year, yes.
Sure. Yeah, no, I just wanted to take you back a step there. Just those numbers are, those are big numbers. But the one thing I must say, the fact that you have a social worker that is part of the journey, with the families especially, because this can be just the diagnosis alone.
It's traumatic. It's a very traumatic.
It's a very traumatic experience. And the one thing I've spent time with, my personal time, I've also spent time with a lot of cancer patients, and some of them youngsters, and they were just super braver than the adults. I must say, I always felt that they were just,
very brave. We've seen so many of the children that return from treatment. They return to the CHOC houses in the afternoon, early afternoon. They're in the playrooms at the CHOC houses. They're on the push cars. They're on the jungle gyms. And you would not even say that child had undergone treatment earlier that day. Wow. So kids are so resilient. We always say they are our heroes. They just have the spirit of, I just want to be free and I want to be a child. And you will be amazed if you visit the CHOC houses at how much joy it is to see them once they return from hospital. It's almost as though life is just normal for them, and they want just a sense of normality. Yes.
Wow. We definitely got to get a sense of what we can all do, and some of the other amazing things that goes around CHOC. But earlier we asked you if you got a comment, then definitely send it through, and we have some.
We do have on a comment.
Let's have a look at some of the. Jabbar says, hello sir, hope you're all right. How are you, Jabbar? Thank you very much. Hope all is well on your side. Hubert
Hey,
says,
Mr.
hello
Hubert.
Hubert, good evening guys. CHOC Works reminds us that childhood cancer is not just a medical challenge, but a community one that needs all of us to speak up and get involved.
So true, Hubert.
Yes, I think
Mark.
so. I think so as well. Hello Mark, ever since recently learning about CHOC, the NPO has been popping up all of my socials. Recently saw the awesome work done by the Kulisi Foundation and happy to see Lynette on Mahala Monday. Yes, thank you very much for that, Mark. Hubert goes on to say, what role do you believe communities can play alongside CHOC in breaking the silence around childhood cancer and ensuring that affected families receive the awareness, support and care that they deserve?
Oh, wow.
What role do you believe, Lynette?
I believe that there are much more work to be done in terms of early detection. Children in South Africa are not diagnosed quick enough. The survival rate in South Africa is only about 60%. While in developed countries, the survival rate is between 70 to 80%.
Wow.
So we do need communities to rally and partner more with CHOC on raising awareness on the early warning signs of childhood cancer, whether it be through inviting us to schools to speak to the educators on the early warning signs, whether it's inviting CHOC to a community event where we can share about what are these early warning signs, helping us to spread awareness in those communities, or whether it be to rally support around families who are currently going through the journey. And that's very important, to make families feel like they are not alone. And they don't have to face this journey alone.
Because if you think about it, especially when it comes to childhood cancer, that is like a taboo topic. That is something most people wouldn't want to talk about.
Yes, there's a lot of myths around childhood cancer in South Africa. Unfortunately, many myths. When we do our training, we even speak about what are these myths.
What are they?
Some myths are, for instance, in the more African traditional cultures, where people feel that they are cursed, for instance, therefore their children are diagnosed with cancer. They feel that cancer, some members of the public believe cancer is contagious. In some members of the public cases, they feel that they maybe have not done due right with the ancestors and therefore their children are now diagnosed with cancer. But there's quite a lot of myths that exist out there. And that also delays the children's diagnosis and at times the access to treatment.
Oh, wow.
Now, off air, and Hubert, thank you very much for that question because it kind of leads us to where I would want to go. Because it's easy for me as an adult, if I have a niggle, a pain, to sort of really specify to the healthcare practitioner that this is where my issue is, or it's resulting in this or whatever. But for children, it's a little different because they might have a sore thumb or sore pinky, you know what I mean? But, you know, you'll still carry on playing and whatever. Do we as parents, firstly, let me ask you this, do we need to tell children and be more aware, especially as we do in terms of when it comes to the conversations we have with our kids around GBV, as we all do nowadays? Do we have that same conversation, like, listen, when something is wrong, speak up, tell me if you got aches and pains? Do we have these conversations with kids as parents? Is that the first thing that we got to do? And are there signs that we got to look out for?
Yeah, there are signs. We use, as CHOC, we use the Siluan early warning signs, and those signs were developed by the South African Children's Cancer Study Group. And as CHOC, we also utilize it when we do our training and our talks, and we educate the public on the word Siluan because every letter refers to an early warning sign. So if I may just briefly explain. So S refers to seek. It's mostly to tell the members of the public, seek help, be persistent, do not be complacent if symptoms persist over a long period of time. And then the letter I refers to a white spot in the eye, a new squint. Suddenly the child now has a squint. And in the past, the child never had a squint before. The squint has just suddenly appeared. Or a bulging eyeball. The eyeball almost feels or looks as though it's coming out of its socket. So, that's the letter I. So it could be a white spot in the eye, a new squint, sudden blindness that the child now has, which had not appeared before. That's the letter I in Siluan. And then L refers to lump. We all know that any lump needs to be referred. Any lump needs to be investigated. We should not say, oh, but it's just a lump, it will disappear. Even in adults, we need to, males and females need to check out lumps, whether it be in our breasts. A male and a female needs to have a lump referred. So lumps in the children's abdomen, in the pelvis, in the head, in the neck, in the testes, all those types of lumps need to also be checked out, yes.
Okay. Oh, wow.
And then in the letter U, so Siluan, the next letter is U. So that refers to unexplained. Unexplained fever, unexplained weight loss, unexplained pallor. Those things are things that the mom never saw before, and now suddenly the child's not willing, not even interested in eating. He's losing weight. He's pale constantly. So those kinds of signs, the parent. So the early warning signs is a combination of more than one sign that appears over a long period of time. Then the letter A refers to aching in Siluan. So things such as aching bones, aching joints, headaches with or without vomiting over a long period of time. And then the last letter, which refers to N, and people can also visit our website to look for the Siluan early warning signs, and they can also visit the website of the South African Children's Cancer Study Group for the early warning signs. So N refers to neurological. We know neurological refers to your brain. So neurological refers to where a toddler was able to walk. And the toddler's milestones is not progressing, it's now regressing. In other words, he was able to walk and now suddenly he's unable to walk. He's losing his balance. His speech is slurred. If the person was able to speak well and formulate sentences or formulate words, and now the words are slurred. So neurological, or sometimes an enlarged head. And those signs, neurological signs, need to also be looked at very, very seriously. So those are the Siluan early warning signs.
All right. Because we got it on screen there, and I want to ask you just to keep it up there, because obviously when we look at those early warning signs, we're looking at a combination of those. Do you know what I mean? And for extended periods.
For an extended period of time, many times the parent will see more than one sign. So, for instance, if it's unexplained, unexplained fever, unexplained loss of weight, pallor, and it could be for a long period of time. The parent might have visited the community health center or his or her nearest GP. Whatever medication have been prescribed has not worked successfully, and we always advise the parents, please do return to the same GP or the same community health center, and please do stress or emphasize the fact that whatever medication have been prescribed is not working, and all these symptoms persist.
So sorry, Dugald. So just and I'm looking at this now, and I'm kind of saying many times you actually go to, especially we're talking about people obviously that has to go to public facilities and that, or the clinics. If you see as a parent, I see it's like say 6 of those now. Obviously, can I go there and say, I insist you need to have my kid checked? Can you as a parent, or must you run through the process? Because that, I'm just thinking now, what if they miss out? You know, that first or second test and the third test, and they say, no, we all know, you know, we all grow up. And when you start getting pains in your legs, then they say, oh no, it's growing pains. You know what I'm saying? That's like the old saying, no, the child's legs is growing. So we as parents need to be wary of this. And if we see most of those signs, obviously the bowels is going off. Am I correct?
Yes, it is. And as any parent, you do feel worried if your child is not him or herself or the way they used to be a few months ago, and these symptoms are still persisting. So every parent will have an inclination, but something is wrong. The parent, when we always say, when you see that these symptoms are still persisting, please do visit the same GP, the same clinic, because they do have on record all your visits and all of the symptoms as what the parent have shared, and do stress the fact that you would like to have a referral to the nearest pediatric oncology wards. Because the parents still need to follow all of the referral pathways that we have in the country.
Because it is a process, isn't it? Because even as an adult, you kind of got to, you know, you'll be at least visiting 3-4 GPs before you find that kind of diagnosis. And I just think with children, naturally, it's going to be a lot more trickier.
It is.
You know what I mean? Like, let's say if I'm going to visit, let's say 4 or 5 on average, medical practitioners before I get it, I would say you probably add another 3 or 4 with, maybe 7 visits. Just for argument's sake, because you almost got to look specifically for it. Because when we look at those signs and things that that we list there, these are like pale, not having an appetite. That's every second child. You're putting veggies there, that's it. They don't have an appetite all of a sudden, Changes to chicken nuggets, we're all feasting. But, that's every second child. So it's so it is really, mom and dad, you've got to look at a combination of all these things.
A combination of the silhouette early warning signs. Yes, you are correct, Dugald. And South Africa has a very high percentage of burden of disease. So it's quite easy even for our medical fraternities, because there are so many other burdensome diseases that our community health centers and our medical sectors face with on a daily basis. But you are correct, amongst children it is quite tricky. The good thing is that you will see that CHOC has a helpline. It is available on that poster that's now on your screen. So the public can contact us, and we will also inquire more about the early warning signs and connect them, if possible, with the nearest pediatric oncology ward to investigate it further. Sure.
Let me ask you this. How aware are South Africans, or we as a nation or as a community, how aware are we of the challenges that a family would face that's in that situation?
I do think that we all, as members of the public, some of us live in a comfortable bubble, for instance, to say we do not even know that these families that are undergoing the challenges of accessing treatment, or that they have a child that's diagnosed with cancer, and that for them just to access the hospital on a daily or weekly basis is a challenge. And I think that more people need to be made aware that children can be diagnosed with cancer, and that it's not inherited by the children had not. There's no scientific conclusion that tells us why children are diagnosed with cancer. It happens in their growing cells, and that any child, a child from newborn up until the age of 19 can be diagnosed with cancer. And more people need to be made aware that this is real, that it does happen, and that children are diagnosed with cancer, yes.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and thank you for those questions and comments that we had, but definitely send more through if you have anything with us. Of course, Lynette from the CHOC Foundation, and they do really outstanding work, because there's no better way to describe it, because really in your hour of need, this is the foundation that will take you by the hand and really support you, and this is it. Because trust me, I've not to say much, but this is a road I've walked more than once, and it's a dark road. It's a dark road. So it is great if you have that sort of support. Can I ask you if you have a story or a moment that you could share with us that reminds you of of why the work that CHOC does is so important? Sorry to put you a little bit on the spot.
There's actually so many. I mean, there are so many kids.
Yeah, without displaying the identity.
We don't have to. But there are so many kids who've come through our CHOC houses, whom our social workers and our teams across the country have met. Children who have become survivors. I mean, there's a young survivor, I remember, who was treated at Red Cross Hospital, and he was 11. And at that time, our hospital volunteers got to know him, and he was one of the naughty boys in the ward after hours, making himself some sandwiches very late at night in the kitchen of the ward. And he was 11 when he was diagnosed, and he's now 27. He's married, he's got a little girl, and such a success rate to see survivors that we still have relationships with, and that you got to know. That was before I joined CHOC, obviously, but that some of our volunteers got to know when they were so young. And now, many years later, they're still in contact with survivors. So it's very inspirational when we meet survivors who had said, oh, I remember the CHOC volunteers in the ward that gave us, a muffin and a cup of tea or coffee in the ward. Or I remember the aunties in the CHOC houses that were like second moms to us in the CHOC houses. We even have a survivor from Worcester who had a very, very lengthy brain tumor operation. And at that time, and him and his mom stayed at our CHOC Lodge, Tygerberg, located on the premises of Tygerberg Hospital.
Okay.
And he has completed grade 12. He's a survivor, and he is now furthering his studies.
Wow.
And that is such a success to look at him and see the difference that CHOC made by enabling them to live at the CHOC houses at no cost. And many parents didn't have to stress about where would they stay while they undergo treatment with their children, how would they access treatment, you know, and that just being able to be that blessing to them made a difference on their journey. And they still stay in touch.
Oh, wow.
But as I say, there are so many. There's just so many stories to share.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. No, but this is brilliant. Obviously, like any organization, and especially in the space that you would work, there would be challenges. There would be challenges, and I'm sure they are multifaceted in any shape and form, as we would know. How do we as the public get involved? How is it that we as every man on the street can assist CHOC in the work that they do? How do we get involved? What are the challenges that is really important?
There are so many ways for the public and individuals and corporates and religious institutions to get involved. Firstly, funding is always a challenge for most non-profit organizations in the NPO sector in South Africa. We know we live in a tough economic climate, so funding is always a challenge, but we're constantly reliant on the generosity of the public. So the public can gladly contact CHOC if they want to donate, whether it be donating monetary or donating through making a difference through donations in kind, where they run, for instance, a food or toiletry drive in aid of our CHOC houses. In that way, the public can also get involved. Or if the public wants to invite CHOC to come and talk about the early warning signs, whether it be at a school, at an ECD center, high school, primary school, or even at a company with their staff on the early warning sign. And then we also have what we call hospital and ward volunteers. They are very, very dear to CHOC, and they play a big role in the work that we are doing in the wards. They go into the wards certain mornings in the week, and they also provide non-professional emotional support to the families. So if there are ladies out there that want to volunteer and get involved with CHOC, September is International Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. So people can contact us if they want to have some gold ribbons and distributed.
Is that similar to the one you've got?
Similar to one.
There we
and
go. So
I'll
we can see
definitely
it.
bring your team some gold ribbons tomorrow.
There we go.
Along, yes. So they can contact us for gold ribbons. And then February, we are commemorating International Childhood Cancer Awareness Day in February. And this year, on the 20th of February, we are hosting Flip-Flop Day. Flip-Flop Day, we CHOC launched in 2019. That's where the members of the public can purchase a Flip-Flop Day sticker from CHOC.
Okay.
And then it's costing at 10 Rand each, and we encourage the public to wear it along with their own flip-flops on Flip-Flop Day.
Cool, man.
So Flip-Flop Day will be on the 20th of February, and the stickers are available at the CHOC offices. And it's also available at Taki Town branches across the country. Yes. So please do join us on
Doesn't mean you
Flip-Flop
can
Day.
change your mind, flip-flop on ideas.
You better put in your diary 20th of February.
I will put it in. I will put
We
it
need
in.
We need
We'll
to.
remind you.
There was a picture up there, and I know we spoke about it earlier, the one with the cow van that we had there. And it was quite an interesting story because, I mean, I've seen some cyclists with this cow outfit. And I knew CHOC was involved there, so what is the story behind the cows?
The cows are our biggest fundraising arm around the country, and they are amazing people. They are, you can see there our cow spotted minibuses. Our minibuses are cow branded. The cows have really made it possible for CHOC to operate many years. We do not get government funding. And the cows were started by a couple whose daughter had been diagnosed with cancer, and they decided to host a fundraiser for CHOC. And when they went into the store, there were only these cow-spotted outfits. And since then, the cows became a movement around the country, really a movement around the country.
Movement, you hear that one. I love that
and
one.
Now we've got hundreds of people that absolutely love people who are already loving things like swimming, cycling, running, paddling, who are already participating in these athletic events. But through them joining the cows, they then supporting our cause. And you will notice our cows in some of the big sporting events like the Comrades, in the Cape Town Cycle Tour, and in the 94.7 cycle tour, and they then run or they cycle in these cow-spotted outfits, and they raise funds for CHOC, and they are absolutely amazing. And they raise a lot of support for CHOC.
And they can get, if anybody out there wants to join CHOC, they can contact you as well?
Yes, they can contact CHOC. They can Google www.choc, and then we will link them to our colleague who will help them with the whole process of registering to become a cow. And they've done amazing things for CHOC over the years. And they've really supported us in providing comprehensive support to the children and teenagers in all the academic hospitals over the years through their fundraising initiatives.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Oh,
You're gonna be a cow person.
I will wear that outfit with pride. Definitely, I'll be that cow.
You must, yes. We'll hold you to it.
I will. Believe me, I'm as mad as that. Definitely.
Yeah, you should do that. But we got some more on-air comments, so thank you very much for sending those through. Let's have a quick look at what we have there with some more on-air comments. If you want to know anything around this topic, Lynette is here with us. Of course, you simply just got to ask her, and she will gladly put it in. Hubert, thanks again. Hubert says it takes a truly special kind of person to do this work. Thank you, Lynette, and the CHOC team for being the beacon of hope and compassion. And thank you, Mahala Monday, for bringing this powerful show to us. Our pleasure. But yes, we echo Hubert's sentiments there,
Definitely,
Lynette.
definitely,
Thank you
Lynette.
so much.
Really extraordinary. This is wow.
Thank you so much.
This is, because I can imagine the things that you would see. Because it is not only just, dealing with it, but just the emotions that comes with this. And let's be honest, man, we all human, our minds run. We like to go fetch the baboon behind the mountain, you know what I mean? And as we do in everything. So, and it's also a scary thing. And every person's journey is unique to that. That's all I can say, really. It is really that. But we echo your sentiments there, Hubert.
There was, and I know we spoke off air as well, because for me it's always a case of, obviously you're dealing with parents that's now finding out the kids got cancer, and then you have the kids obviously that pass on, and then I do believe you do have a get together of these parents as well.
Yes, we have an annual Remembrance Day service for parents whose children had passed on due to cancer. It's a very memorable date on our calendar. In every CHOC region, it's normally during the month of November. And there are parents that attend, and it becomes almost like a highlight for the parents to connect with other parents that they met during the ward time when their kids went for treatment. So it's called an annual remembrance service, and we light a candle in memory of the children. And it's a very memorable day for us, and we remember the lives, and we celebrate their lives and their memory. And there's so many kids that come to mind on that day. Yes.
Wow.
Well, and that is in November.
It's November. Yes. And they will find that date on your calendar, on your website as well?
It will be under our upcoming events. And all the different CHOC regions will have it on different dates. And here in the Western Cape, our one will be on the 22nd of November.
22nd of
November. Closer to time, they will be able to find the poster on our website.
As well. Oh, beautiful. Oh, I'm so touched. You do
really
amazing work.
You really do impressive work. You really do. But also in South Africa, we have many organizations that sort of operate in the space, small teams, limited resources, but the drive and the passion is huge. Abundance. For other organizations or people just watching the show this evening, just wherever they're watching this, and thinking, you know what, in our community, we should be a little bit more aware. Do you have any advice for them?
You know, as NGOs, you are correct, there are many NGOs. I believe in South Africa, there's a couple of 100,000 non-profit organizations in South Africa, and everyone's work is valuable.
Yeah.
And what we've learned is that it's more significant to do the significant work, and as you continue with being consistent and providing services that are excellent, you know, people will recognize the work that is being done and the programs and the impact that is being made. There's no need for competition out there, for instance, but it's important, if you believe in the work that you are doing, to continue making a difference, because our communities need that. Our communities need that.
Yeah. You really, you know what? It's you know, when sometimes you feel like there's something heavy on your chest. And for me today, it's really been one of those things, and I think a lot of parents out there, there's always the fear of, what if my kid gets sick? What if they end up having cancer? You've answered so much, and there's the fact that support is there, CHOC is there. So I think that for me, what I'm taking away today is the fact that it's nice to know there's somebody's going to hold your hand, there's somebody's actually going to be there for you. Because I think many times parents tend to feel, I'm alone in this. And I mean, I know we spoke off air as well. Some parents actually go to hospitals, they take their kids to the doctor, and then immediately have to get treatment. And so they're coming from far. They don't have clothes, extra clothes, they don't have food. I can just imagine the amount of stress. And now for the fact that CHOC is there, I mean, geez, I feel honored having you in our country. Definitely.
No, truly, yes.
Thank you so much.
No, listen, we echo those sentiments.
Sure.
And I want to highlight what Hubert said again as well, that is absolutely extraordinary work that you do. And thank you very much for saying that as well. But Lynette, before we let you go, any final thoughts?
Any final thoughts? Just to encourage the public to contact us. There are so many ways to get involved with CHOC, through volunteering, donating, doing drives alongside CHOC. And if they are aware of any child that has been diagnosed with cancer and undergoing the journey, please rally or mobilize support for that family in the communities. And cancer can be beaten, and early detection saves lives.
Early detection saves lives.
100%. Lynette, thank you so much.
Thank you, Rhoda.
Wow.
Thank you, Dugald.
No, thank you so much for joining us. Wow, absolutely
Thank
fascinating conversation. And thank you for enlightening us.
Definitely.
That is
Thank
what
you for the
was needed.
opportunity.
Yeah.
We really do appreciate it.
Brilliant. That is Lynette Muthuray, everybody, who is the CHOC regional manager. Of course, the work that they do is profound. Let's be honest here. It is absolutely crucial. It is very, very important, this sort of work. And you know what? Also, what I'm actually, before I must say this, Lynette also told us this, that they also engage with institutions that train healthcare professionals, you know, where they also get involved there. So it is from that level onwards, like, you know, CHOC is really in this. They're doing everywhere. They're helping the families, they're supporting the patients, obviously, and post whatever happens, you know. And it's also great to hear that the patients, once they feel better and they survivors in a way, that they also come back because they realize that wonderful support and comfort that they had in a very dark hour. It is important to extend this. And this is brilliant. It really is. It's a great organization that does amazing work. And you can go check out everything that they do. Go check out their website, which is at choc.org.za. So www.choc, CHOC, CHOC, as it is, .org.za, and follow them on their socials as well, and have a look out for the cows. Have a look out for the cows. You see the cows, follow the cows. That is what you got to do. And of course, always when it comes to financial aid, that is always welcome. But
always
once again,
welcome.
Go to the website. All these details. There'll be events that you can get involved in. There can be things where you can get the CHOC to come to you, whether it is for a talk at a school, just at a community hall, for your church group, whatever it is. Definitely get it away. And it's more when we talk about these sort of things. And I know, and I said this earlier when we started the show, it is a very difficult topic. Nobody wants to talk about childhood cancer. That is the last thing on my list that I would want to talk about as a parent. But here's the flip side. the more we talk about it, the more we become aware.
Exactly.
The more we become aware about the early detection signs, how we can detect it. And also, it indicates that there's a bigger support and understanding around the topic, which is so important. Then it means sometimes a lot of people don't want to talk about something. It's like, oh, no, I'm shy. No. If you're going to be fighting for your life, there's no need to be shy.
No, definitely not.
This is it. This is it. But it's a great opportunity for all of us to get involved.
Get
That's
involved,
it from me,
get
Rhoda.
involved. That's it, Dougal. I think you said it. You said it very well spoken, and said it exactly where I was thinking. Well done.
Yeah. So, 22nd of November is that all-important day, which
Yes.
is that Remembrance Day. But the details you'll find on CHOC's website, so you can go there and check it out. And that's where it is. Is that it?
That's it, Dougal.
So, yes, that wraps it up from us here on Mahala Monday. We'll be back next week, of course. Thank you very much to the wonderful questions and comments that we received.
yes.
And remember, keep the conversation going there on the comment section, of course. Keep talking about it. Keep the conversation going. And very important, we ask you once again, if you haven't done so, definitely like and subscribe. But thank you very much to our wonderful guest from CHOC, Lynette Muthuray, joining us here this evening on Mahala Monday. It has been an absolute thrill and a wonderful pleasure to have her here with us. And that wraps it up for myself, Dugald and Rhoda. Until next time, looking forward to having you back on the next edition of Mahala Monday. See you then.
Bye.